don't know if this is recording. Oh, it is. Okay, well. Let me turn off my truck. This is the first... Yeah, that looks horrible. It's kind of embarrassing. I'm in the parking lot of a movie theater. This will probably never see the light of day, as this is a test recording that I don't know how it's going so far, because I mean, I'm familiar with cameras, but I'm not familiar with like auto mode cameras. I've always done everything manually, and there's just like a bunch of symbols, and the fucking thing is like saying macro, or I don't know what's going on within the camera. Like, it is trying to adjust. It's like going from portrait to, I don't know. I'm just not gonna pay attention to it and let it do its thing. But anyways, today I watched Dune, directed, and I think written by Denis Villeneuve. Obviously adapted from the novel titled Dune from Frank Herbert. Hope I got that right. Yeah, so I just watched that movie. If you are watching this, then I would have recorded a intro video previous to this where I kind of describe... I have my fucking seatbelt on. Where I describe what this channel is going to be and what I hope to do with it. Or I don't describe any of that. I don't know. I don't plan things very well. When it comes to the actual like acting of the thing, I don't plan that. I do plan to do things, but I don't plan how to do things. Because then like I have like a perfectionist mindset, so I end up not doing anything if I try to plan what the actual thing that I do. As you can tell, this is going very well. Anyways, I watched Dune, again, written and directed by Denis Villeneuve. I don't know who did the cinematography. I obviously know who did the score, Hans Zimmer. And what do I have to say? So, I guess in the previous video you watched, if you watched it, you should watch my intro video. Because hopefully I described something. But what I hope for this channel to be, is kind of like a hot takes, like impressions, like right after a movie, I start recording this thing, and I hope this is recording. I mean, the light is red. It says recording, so it's probably recording. But it's supposed to be like a hot take impression of whatever film, like, and I always, as you can tell, I'm alone. A lonely critic, as you can tell. And I think one of the funnest things when you go watch a movie, usually with a person, I have nobody, so you are my person. That you watching this on your phone, wherever you are, maybe it's midnight, maybe it's dark, maybe you're also alone, and you're like, damn, I just watched this film, I wish I had someone to talk to with about it. I fucked all that up. I did drink like 2 little Jack Daniels whiskey bottles with my drink in the movie theater, so I am slightly tipsy, as one does watching a movie. And then, like, you know, it was like a celebration. We only get a Denis Villeneuve film like every 3-4 years, you know, like you have to celebrate. But anyways, so that's I forgot what I was already fucking talking about. What was I saying? But yeah, you watch the movie, and then after the movie, if you watch it with a friend, which is always the best when you watch it with like a significant other or a friend or your best pal, whatever, or a family member, whoever you can talk movies with, you know, it's awesome. You get out of the theater and you're like, dude, that fucking sucked, or dude, that was fucking awesome. And I'm saying dude as like a non-gender thing, like it can be male, female. So it's like, you know, like you just start that spark of conversation, like trying to not really dissect, but decompress everything you just experienced. Because I think that's like one of the wonderful things about cinema is when you decompress from an experience. You know, honestly, this could be my fucking intro video with how much I'm fucking talking about the channel instead of the film. Anyways, Dune. So with all that being said, that's what I want this review to kind of feel like. I just walked out of the theater. I'm in my car. As you can tell, the lighting is shit. I don't know how the audio is doing, which is bothering me right now. But I hope it's doing well. I just bought this camera like literally yesterday. It arrived yesterday. I opened it yesterday. I don't know how to use it because it's all automatic, which is like for me is scary versus manual because I know what's going on. The ISO, like all the things I know to adjust, they just say auto on them. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I can like see how it's like flickering settings or whatever, trying to adapt. But see, I forgot my fucking train of thought again. And maybe this YouTube channel will not work. What did I think of Dune? So I was very excited for this film. I'm a huge fan of Denis Villeneuve. The films of his that I have seen are Enemy, Prisoners, Blade Runner 2049, and Sicario. I haven't seen Arrival, and I haven't seen his previous work before Prisoners. But with the films that I have seen, I absolutely love his visual eye. I love his aesthetic. I love his attention to detail. I love the way he captures cinema. And I think he is one of the great auteurs working in our time. And I think Dune, for that matter, is another like testament to his brilliance in the art form. It feels like extremely, and now I'm getting into my review. Which, by the way, I'm not going to do any spoilers for the film, so if you haven't seen the film, don't worry, I'm not going to like fucking go into exact details or exact situations of the film. This is just more broad strokes, talking about themes and all kinds of stuff. But I won't spoil any specific events or topics. What was I going to say? But yeah, talking about Denis Villeneuve, I think this film is like just a nice little staple to his filmography so far, and I love the experience. Like immediately when the film ended, I was kind of like stunned that this thing exists in the world. Like I felt the same exact way when Blade Runner 2049 ended, and I was like, who the fuck gave this guy this much money to make an indie film at scale? You know, and that's what Blade Runner 2049 felt like for me. Like it felt like oh, this is what happens when you give like an indie filmmaker or like a filmmaker with such a intense creative vision, like an unlimited budget. You know, in many ways, he is like an extreme creative brother to like Christopher Nolan. I love Christopher Nolan for all his quirks and things that he does, but I don't feel like he is capturing on all fronts of cinema, where it's like visuals meeting audio, meeting score, meeting set design, costume design. I think all of Christopher Nolan's films are great. I love what they've done. I think he has made like testaments to cinema and like the grand scheme of the art form. But Denis Villeneuve is like, he just feels like one like, and I say this as a positive, like foreign as fuck. Like the way he captures cinema is in a like almost like art house. Like there's like a tinge of art house cinema in his visual eye. Like the way he edits scenes and the way he doesn't actually edit them, but the way he envisions the final piece as, you know, like this visual metaphor. There's a lot of like tactile what is it? Tactile. Help me with the word. Expression. Tactile expression. Like it feels like a very expressionist type of film, where I feel like Christopher Nolan is way more just intellectual, and like, you know, there's fans or haters of his craft, you know, with like time manipulation or multiple events happening at the same time. But Disney is like very emotional, very thematic, and very visual and like I said, he has something tactile that I feel like a lot of filmmakers don't have, especially nowadays. Probably none, with the exception of him. That's working at this like level and caliber, and I feel like Dune, the film, captures that. Like the way it captures the visuals, the way it captures and emotes the audio and score, which is by Hans Zimmer, and then, I mean, I wish I would look up. I wish I could look up the names. I mean, I technically can, but if I did an intro video, I will talk about how I don't want to do cuts. You know, I will probably mention the phrase MVP, minimum viable product. So it's like, you know, I don't want to edit this shit. Like, I don't want to do like fucking edit every like dead silence or whatever of my conversation. Because I'm busy. You know, I have a lot of shit to do, and this isn't. I mean, this is something I love doing, so I want to do it, and I don't want to purposely do it bad, but I don't want to become consumed by making it perfect. So you know, whatever. See, I'm off on a fucking tangent again. Anyways, the Dune film feels like monumental in the craft aspect, like the way they did the costume designs, the set designs. I mean, everything is just immaculate, and it feels huge, and it feels larger than life. And like while I was watching it, I felt completely like transported into this other world. And it's so rare that I feel a film, or I watch a film that makes me feel that way. I can't even. I think like the last film that made me feel that way was Blade Runner, and then previous to that was I guess Mad Max Fury Road. You know, like where it just feels like you're invested in a world, and it's not like I don't mean world like a lore. You know, like kind of like Star Wars, where it's like, oh, all these little characters in the universe or whatever, or even like with the MCU, like the characters in the universe, and I'm saying like it feels real. It feels like this could be a documentary of about a different planet that, you know, some other people like shit going on in a different universe in a different planet. Like it feels that tactile and real, and I think that's like a massive props to the set designers, costume designers, and just the special effects artist, the CGI. Like, and that's the other crazy thing is like, where did the CGI begin and end? And I feel like in a lot of films, everything feels CGI, and in this film, everything felt real. Like it felt like gigantic props, and it felt like almost like toys, or like you know how they used to do miniatures in cinema with like I know like Christopher Nolan, since I already brought him up, he did miniatures for like Interstellar with the plane, well, not the plane, the spacecrafts that he uses and how he shoots them. They're all like actual miniatures that he's filming. And, you know, and a lot of that's inspired by like, you know, the work done on 2001: A Space Odyssey and like other sci-fi films of the past. And in this film, like if you were to tell me they were all miniatures, I'd be like, oh yeah, they were. I believe that. If you were to tell me they were all CGI, I'd be like, holy fuck, like that's brilliant. The way he melts, you know, the two digital and physical together. Because I honestly don't know what was shot on location or not. You could tell me that whole desert was real, and I'd believe it. And I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm assuming they did a lot of on location shots though, just from like the interviews and stuff I read. So visually and aesthetically, the film is magnificent in the way it captures it. It feels like I can't go back and remember how it felt like watching the first Lord of the Rings, because I was so young and dumb back then, cinema wise. But now it feels like, damn, like if they make the part two, which I hope they do, and I think it's like a travesty that the studio didn't green light and shoot both films back to back. Like I don't know why you would just do part one and not do part two. And if there is a reality, if you're watching this in like 5 years and there was never a Dune part two, then we fucked up as humanity. But anyways, let's say there is a part two. I think it'd be remembered kind of like in the way that like the Lord of the Rings trilogy is. You know, like it feels like a staple of like cinematic history, the way Peter Jackson captured that world in those three films. But the weird thing about this film, and I guess I'll get into more of the negatives now. And again, I'm just rambling. These are just hot takes. You know, imagine you're sitting by me in my car. Uh, I threw away my drink. I was supposed to have my drink and popcorn, and I wouldn't be like snacking on that. But yeah, these are all just rambling thoughts as they come to me. Hopefully, you're having these rambling thoughts as they're coming to you, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I agree," or "I disagree." Um, so I think that's all the positives. I mean, obviously the visuals, the cinematography, the shot designs, the compositions, the movement of the camera, the use of the camera, like all that stuff is just like it's insane that he is like doing. He's working at the same level and higher than he was working in Blade Runner 2049. And it's just kind of weird how he's allowed to do that. And it's weird because I feel like in Blade Runner it was way more I mean, I don't know, maybe this is just how it feels, but it didn't feel like it had as many close-ups as this film has. Like, this film has a lot of extreme close-ups, and a lot of the, like, the kind of shots that I feel like a lot of other lesser filmmakers make, and a lot of indie filmmakers and a lot of, like, you know, amateur filmmakers do, which is the close-up with everything behind the face is blown out, and it's like bokeh, and it's just like that typical shot that I've seen in like so many films and like local film festivals or whatever. And for some reason in this film, he does the same shots. It's extreme close up of Timothy Chalamet or Rebecca Ferguson or Oscar Isaac or you know all the other actors, all the big names that exist in Hollywood that are in this film. But somehow it feels different, like the way he does it here, and then you know it's followed by just an extreme wide shot of architecture, of like land and just a lot of physicality of things, with whether it's the machinery or the locations of this world, this fantasy setting. Somehow like those two like opposite components kind of mesh together in a brilliant way with the extreme close-ups of a human face and then the extreme wide shots of machinery and the earth of this planet and the texture, I guess. I don't know, how's this going? Are y'all still watching? I don't know. What else was I gonna fucking say? Yeah. Visually, it's immaculate. Costume set design, immaculate. The sound design, I guess I don't know if I've talked about this yet. I'm kind of like I'm really nervous and it's disturbing me the fact that I can see my face and I'm like trying to not look at that, but I don't know if it's like keeping focus. Anyways, the sound design, that's what I was going to talk about. The sound design is fucking like I think this might be like one of the best sound designed films that I've ever experienced in my life. Like the way they capture the sound of the world and how they mix it within the visuals, it's perfect. So sound mixer, sound recorder, all the people involved in the sound department, holy fucking shit, y'all. If y'all don't win the Oscar, then it's a crime against humanity. But the other thing I want to mention is Hans Zimmer's score in this film, and it is truly, for me personally, I think it's an astounding piece of work. I listened to an interview with him talking about how he was kind of talking shit about Star Wars. Well, not really. He was saying like I love John. I think this is not verbatim. This is just my recollection of a quote that he said. But he was like, I love John Williams and his work on Star Wars. But who would have imagined a orchestra in space? You know, and the thing he was trying to get to was like, shouldn't like a space opera or a space film or a film in the future or in an alien world, shouldn't it sound like inhuman or alien? Like why would an orchestra sound like it would make sense in this galaxy far, far away? And I think what he does in this film, Hans Zimmer does in Dune, with the score, is that he takes that criticism that he just gave to John Williams and Star Wars as a whole, is like, Well, shouldn't an alien film feel alien? And somehow I feel like he really accomplishes it in this film. And it's so strange because most of the score is human vocals. And it's like chants. And like the way they build on top of each other creates this like weird, haunting, inhuman tone, even though it's produced by humans. And then I know in that same interview he talked about how he has a friend who can create, or who creates instruments, like instruments that don't exist. Like he would just, I don't know exactly what he creates. I'm sure there will be like a behind the scenes or something in Dune that shows the instruments. But there's one instrument that he uses many times that I don't think is an instrument that existed before this film, that this person created for Hans Zimmer. And it, oh my god, it sounds like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it sounds very guttural. It sounds very I don't know. It like, I want to say it sounds metallic, because you know when you think about the word metallic as a sound, it's like the clanging, like or whatever. But this is like what you would imagine someone ripping a piece of metal, you know, like ripping it, like if metal was a piece of paper and you could just rip it, and you know how like a paper sounds when you rip it, it's like, and imagine metal. But then this sounds like that, like it has that feeling of metal ripping, but it sounds organic and like guttural. And it, that instrument that he uses in the score, and he uses it multiple times, to the same extent that he uses like you know, the horns in Inception, or the you know, like that sound that he is infamous for. I feel like the sound he creates in this film, the chants and this guttural instrument that I'm speaking of, that I don't know how to really explain. Hopefully I explained it decently. Those two elements, I think they are going to be a staple in like uh, score history with cinema. Like they just, I don't know. Maybe it was the IMAX auditorium that I watched it in, but it felt like I could feel it in my fucking chest every time I heard the or whatever the sound is. I can't obviously imitate it, but every time he uses it, I'm like, God damn, that is like one of the most beautiful sounds I've ever heard in my life. And it feels like like a ripping and a tension and a struggle. And then the whole score is just adds so much anxiety to the film, like all the moments of pressure. I feel like the score is like 90% of it pushing it forward. Like visually, this film is like almost art house level of slow burn pace, like the visuals and the edit, but somehow the sound design and the score create this immense tension and pressure that I felt watching the film. But what else do I have to say? So I talked about the visuals and the score and the sound design, the performances. This is like an all-star cast of hugely famous performers. I think they all did well. If you don't know, this film is a part one of two parts. I believe two parts. Actually, I don't know if they've confirmed only two parts, but we're just gonna go with two parts. I think the cast does very well. I think yeah, they all do very well. I think the one flaw of this film is it's almost like, because it's a part one, that it feels kind of flawed in a way. Like even though the film ended and I was like, oh my god, that was monumental in the art of filmmaking. It felt monumental. Me as like a wannabe creator, I'm like, god damn, like that is like kind of like a peak of creation. But something about it being a part one feels kind of like a diluted sense. I remember and this trilogy didn't end well. But I remember the ending of like the Desolation of Smog, and how I felt that, like, god damn, dude, like it felt like a huge pressure of like an explosive excitement, and then the film ended and you're like, no. And then, you know, as we all know, the Hobbit trilogy, the final film in that trilogy is not very great. I would probably say it's very bad from my recollection. I haven't seen them in a while, so I don't know. But I remember part 3 sucking really fucking bad and being extremely bummed, and the whole trilogy itself kind of went down. And I think with this being part 1, it feels weird, and it feels almost like a deflation, or I felt deflated when it ended. I'm like, dude, I would sit here for another 2 hours. Like, just give it to me, and give me the whole film. You know, like give me the whole narrative. But unfortunately, it is just a part 1, and then that's kind of a bummer. And it ends in a, I don't want to say a weird spot, but it doesn't end in you know, like the Desolation of Smog ended with Smog. Am I pronouncing his name wrong? I don't know. Flying to that town, uh, and you're like, holy fuck. You know, like you as a viewer are anticipating the consequences of said event. In this film, it doesn't end with the consequences of an event, but it ends with like a hope of something else happening. And that part felt weird. And it's like, damn, well, I just want to watch part 2 now. But it's still, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you feel it. Do you feel it? Tell me. Tell me right now. Tell me how you feel. Tell me to your phone that you're viewing this on, or leave a comment. But yeah, so it felt deflating, but it still feels monumental. I can't wait for part 2. I think this is a film absolutely worth seeing. I honestly don't see how this film makes any money. You know, I felt the exact same way when I watched Blade Runner 2049, and I was like, damn, this movie's gonna flop. And then it flopped. And I felt really bad because it's like, damn, we can't have good things because people don't like good things. Honestly, people like garbage. People like garbage, visual garbage, garbage content. You know, that's kind of like where we are. In my non-educated opinion, you know, like where we are in film and a larger scale, like media as a whole, with like TV series and how they are just pumped out. But anyways, yeah, I don't see how this film makes a lot of money. If it does, then I am very happy and I'm excited because that means part 2 is coming. My auditorium was packed. Like I watched the premiere Thursday night, and it was pretty packed, which is shocking. Like I've seen all the other previous big films on the premiere night, and they were not even close to being packed. Like maybe 20%. But this thing was jam-packed. I mean, it was like nearly sold out. I probably have COVID right now. I probably contracted COVID through Dune. Which that would suck. Hopefully I didn't. But anyways, so what else do I have to say about this film? I think those are my hot takes. This video is obviously my first attempt at this. I described a lot about the channel instead of the film. What else do I have to say? You know, Timothée Chalamet, like, I like him, but I don't know if I like him as, like, the leading role. Not the leading role, but, like, I don't know, there's something about him that I'm like, can he pull off the ending of this film? I think he has to, like, grow as a character, and his performance needs to grow to a point that, I don't know, maybe it's kind of like how everyone in the film is like, he's just a boy, like a young boy. Like, he doesn't have the gravity of like Oscar Isaac, you know? And I'm like, I feel like he needs to kind of reach that to end this two-parter. Like, I think in part 2 he needs to reach Oscar Isaac sort of gravity, you know? And can he do it? I don't know. I hope he can. I mean, I think he's a very talented actor, performer, so I think it's in his ability. But I'm curious if the film grows his character to that level. But yeah, that'd be interesting. I'm trying to think. Now I'm thinking, like, have I spoiled anything about this film? I don't think I have. I do want to say Zendaya. Or is it Zendaya? I'm going to say Zendaya. she's awesome. I mean, it's like this film like builds her as like this like beautiful dream girl. Like literally, she's a girl in his dreams. Not dream girl like a dreamy girl, but like there's something ethereal about her, like angelic, almost like a prophecy or something. And I like how the film like captures her in that way. And then when she finally shows up in the film, like it feels important. And there's something about her performance that feels very like grounded and like believable. I really like her role in the film, I guess is what I'm saying. I think Zendaya has the potential to have the gravity that I'm talking that maybe Timothy doesn't have. So there's something in me like ooh, could Zendaya just be the savior instead of Timothy? I haven't read the books, so I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what happens in part two. I may or may not read the books. Oh my god, I'm fucking yawning. Oh. The book. I know Dune is like a whole series, so I don't know if this just ends with this, and then there's supposed to be like a Sisterhood TV series or some shit. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm tired of films with TV series and all this kind of stuff. Like the MCU is doing it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, but I don't know. We'll see who's involved. Like if Denis Villeneuve directs the whole miniseries, which I don't think he is. I think he's just like a producer on it. Other than that, I probably won't watch it. It's weird recording in your car. There's like other cars, and like, you know, when you're recording yourself, like, I'm sure some of y'all like take selfies in public or whatever. Doesn't it feel weird? Like, are people watching me? I don't know. And I feel like this is off angle, so I'm like, this is me standing straight. So this whole time I've been, because I'm like, there's like a square grid. I don't know. I'm thinking too much. I think I'm done with this conversation though. I don't know how long this has been recording. I guess 32 minutes, which is not. These videos are supposed to be very short, like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I'm just counting minutes, and this is way longer than I anticipated. So final thoughts on Dune. I think it's a visually magnificent film. Audio is wonderful. Sound design, brilliant. Score, magnificent. The performances were great. I love Oscar Isaac. I love Zendaya. Timothée Chalamet. I think he needs to grow. He's just like, he's too much of a pretty boy for me. I don't know. There's something, but in a weird way, the film reminded me like, oh, like if you were to remake Star Wars, like just reboot the whole Star Wars thing, and you were to remake Part 1 of Star Wars, I think Timothy would make a great, like, Luke Skywalker. I don't know, something about this film, the way he's shot and the way he looks, with his little curly hair. Not that Luke Skywalker has those attributes, but something about him feels like he could be a Luke Skywalker. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe it's more Anakin vibes, because he's always like, there's something like emo about him. But, anyways, so I think all those things are great. It just feels weird that it's a part 1. And I think a lot of people are going to feel that. They're going to be like, wait, what? And then the official marketing, the posters, the trailers, none of it says part 1. It just says Dune. And then the film, it starts with this little prelude element, and then it hits you with the title tag, and it says Dune part 1. And I was like, why didn't you? And then it's like 2 seconds long, and then it just fucking cuts away. And it's like, oh, I believe it's something to do with the marketing. You know, like, we can't, like, they probably did some tests, and they were like, if we say Dune Part 1, people are not going to watch it. They're going to wait for streaming, they're going to wait for Part 2, and then they're going to watch Part 1, at home right before Part 2 comes out, so we're going to lose X amount of money, and then there's a possibility of, like, people are never excited enough to watch Part 1, and then when Part 2 comes out, they're going to be like, oh, I didn't watch Part 1, fuck that movie. I'm sure marketing-wise, there was a lot of reasons to not publicly say Part 1, even though all the critics and reviewers are saying Part 1, and then literally the title card in the film says Part 1. It's just weird, you know, weird expectations. So I think the part one element is really what's dragging the film down in a weird way. But I'm gonna end this thing because there's people walking towards me. I will give this film a 9 out of 10. I think it's amazing. I think I love what they did with the film. I'm gonna act like I'm on my phone, so I'm not a fucking weirdo. Next time I'm gonna record, not in my car. I'm gonna, or not in my, not in my car. I'm gonna record away from people. I'm gonna like park far away from other vehicles, because you know I can't handle social experience. Okay, they're driving away. Hey, we're all in this together. This is what being lonely is about. You know, like it's like how much social exposure can I deal with? You know, like how close to the fringe, to the edge of being around another human being can I handle? And not much. Because, you know, that was just like 4 seconds. And I didn't even make eye contact with them. And now they're pulling away. You see that car? Oh my god. Yep, they're gone. Okay, now we're fully alone. Just like the YouTube channel gods deserve. Because, of course, it's a lonely critic. I mean, wouldn't that be some shit if someone walked into my car right now? And it would ruin the whole vibe of this channel, which is loneliness. Speaking of which, back to the film that I experienced alone, but with you, if you watch the film. So I would recommend you watch this film. I give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's a phenomenal piece of cinema. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 until part 2 comes out, and then it can be viewed as one collective whole. I would probably even say the same with like the Lord of the Rings. Like I mean I haven't watched them in a long time, but I don't think I would give any individual part of those films a 10 out of 10. It'd be the collective experiences a 10 out of 10. And that's what's weird about like doing parts. Like I think like if I ever become a filmmaker, which I hope to become one day, I don't know how I would even feel about making multiple parts. Like I think that's just an interesting like dilemma. Like you make part 1, you make part 2, you make part 3, but you know part 1 has to set up part 2, and part 2 is maybe setting up part 3. You know, like if it's one linear narrative, you know, it's like it'd be like reviewing the first 5 chapters of a book, the middle 5 chapters of a book, and the last 5 chapters of a book, if it's a 15-chapter book, of course. But it's like, no, it's all one. So how can you... I don't know. So that aspect is confusing. I have a lot to think about on the film. Speaking of which, so that's going to end my review. I'm going way too long. This is way longer than I ever anticipated. I will probably not edit anything, so you'll just see me failing. If you watch this, then I have truly given up on quality and just been like, you know what? Fuck it. I bought this camera. It arrived yesterday. I watched this film after like a horrible day of work. So just fucking pump it out, you know? Pump it out. That's, you know, just pump it out. What the fuck was I gonna say? I was gonna fucking say something. I was gonna try not to cuss in these things, but my nerves are causing me to cuss. I think I cuss under pressure. Because, you know, the algorithm doesn't like curse words. What I was going to say is, so, these videos, hot takes, me rambling through thoughts, pouring it out, bearing my soul, you know, whatever, other words. And I will, if you're watching this, I will probably write a review, like an actual formal review. I guess what I'm trying to say is these videos are not meant to be formal YouTube video reviews. This is not meant to be like Chris Stuckman or whatever the other guy with the long hair and beard is, who always has the like videos where he's like, you know, doing the fucking poses, doing the, you know, whatever the fuck all the other YouTubers. This is not meant to be a normal YouTube channel. Which is why there's no cuts, there's no editing. It's all whatever the fuck happens. I'm a real human being. I am most times unhappy. As you can tell, I'm not very. I don't know what my energy level is right now. It's nervous energy level, maxed out. There's gonna be days where I'm sad, or I'm like, you know what, that was a waste of time. I watched Paw Patrol 3, the repawning. I don't know, that was a horrible title. Paw Patrol 3, the paws are back. I don't know, whatever. And I'm gonna fail at making jokes. And now I feel like I'm getting into the YouTube territory of like making. I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of like self-doubt. I'm self-doubting myself. Anyways, the channel is gonna be. I'm moving my hands a lot. There's a lot of self-criticism going on here right now. This is why I don't plan how to do things, because it's reaching that level. 40 minutes. That's like. All right, that's when I need to cut shit off, because I'm starting to think about thinking. I'm thinking about thinking about thinking. I'm thinking about what I'm doing. I'm thinking about my life. That's not good. A lonely critic is lonely. Maybe because I'm a critic, and maybe I'm a critic because I'm lonely. I don't know. Oh yeah, I was supposed to do some fucking like intro statement. That was supposed to be in it. But we're just winging it. Dune, 9 out of 10. I would recommend everyone watch it. It's visually awesome. I've already said all this shit before. What the fuck was I gonna say at the end? Oh, that there's gonna be a written review. Alright. So a lonely critic videos are hot takes. My written reviews are more professional, formal things. I guess I would have said this in my intro video, but like my end goal is like, hopefully I can collect my videos and my podcast and my written reviews, send them to some sort of website, maybe like /film or whatever other film site that I can look up. I send it as a resume. I hate my job right now. You know what would be amazing? If this could be my job. If talking about films could be my job. I love films. That's like one of my biggest passions in life is cinema. And if I can't make cinema, then goddamn, I want to fucking live a life where I can experience cinema, talk about it, write about it, discuss about it, which is talk about it. Like if my life can be supported by experiencing cinema, then that is like the second biggest win ever. The only thing bigger than that would be my life is about making cinema. So that's what this is. This is a very desperate midlife crisis attempt at doing the things I've always wanted to do, which again I will probably mention in my intro video. Or not. Maybe there is no intro video. Like I said, this could be the intro video because it's 43 minutes long so far. So with that being said, this is Hot Takes. I will have a formal review. I will also talk about this film again in my film podcast, Cineverm, a film podcast. I don't know. I do that for the SEO. I don't know why I just said the whole fucking name. Cineverm. It's a film podcast where I review films, and in that episode, which if you do see this, that should be out by now, or will be out on a Tuesday. If you're watching this, it'll be out on Tuesday. Or if you're watching this in the future, it's already out. So look up Cineverm on your favorite podcast player. I will be reviewing this film. And then what's awesome about the Cineverm thing, so what I'm going to do is I'm usually not going to do spoilers in these because obviously it's hot takes. And my written reviews will also not have spoilers. But Cineverm, if I do a Cineverm episode on a video that I do here, I will go into spoilers. And I do Cineverm with my friend David. And it's more of a discussion. It's two of us, and it's more back and forth, and we're just talking about the ideas. That's supposed to capture the feeling of if there was someone by me. That's what that's supposed to capture. Is Cineverm is you watch a movie, you come out, you have your best bud, you talk about the film, you talk about what it does, what it could have done, what it did, what it will do. The great things about filmmaking as an art form. So that's Cineverm, and this will have a Cineverm episode guaranteed, because me and David have decided on it. But the cool thing about this channel is that I have an idea to review every big film of 2020 2022. Like that's kind of a challenge I want to set for myself. So I'm going to go to the theater and watch all the new theatrical releases in 2022. Some of those films, because Cineverm is more of a curated list of films, it has to be a film both me and David have selected to watch. So there's going to be a lot of missing of the blockbuster stuff, you know. We're not going to talk about Paw Patrol 4 on Cineverm. It's going to be talked about here on A Lonely Critic, because I'm lonely enough to watch Paw Patrol 4 and then have a 40-minute self-dialogue about it, you know, and the purpose of that German Shepherd. Never mind. If there was going to be a cut, it would have been there. Self-cut. That's it. That's this whole fucking episode. That was my review of Dune and semi-reintroduction to this channel. God bless you if you watch this whole fucking thing. And may whatever God you believe in have mercy on your soul. I believe in the cinema gods, so may they have. Is that correct? May have the. I'm burnt to a crispito. My brain is melted. I'm done talking. Thank you for watching. I don't even know what to call these reviews. Thank you for watching my impressions of Dune. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, subscribe. You know what? I said I wasn't going to do the typical YouTube shit, so I'm not going to do that shit. But what I will say, because what I think is important to me, is leave a comment. Let's have a discussion about the film. You know, that's the whole point of this. I don't give a fuck if you subscribe. I don't give a fuck if you like the video or dislike the video. But if you have something to say about the film or my takes on it, that is something I'm interested in. I'm interested in the conversation. So that's what I will say from now on is please leave a comment. You know, tell me what you thought about the film. Did you agree with my takes on it? Do you think the same things? Do you think opposite things? Let's talk about it. If it's the future, you know, leave in all exclamation, or not, in all capitals, all caps, with exclamation marks. Dude, they never made Dune Part 2. What the fuck? We live in the worst version of reality of the future. Leave that. And yeah, thank you for watching. This was very difficult, and it's very long, and I apologize. And I'm gonna turn it off now because I am actively hating myself. And you know, I don't know how to turn this off.